1972 was a year not unlike other years, perhaps, with its own share of joys and sorrow, excitement and boredom, success and failure. It was the year of Team Canada's victory over the Soviet Union in hockey, but also the year the Canadians learned that others play that game as well, and sometimes they play it better. It was the year of smashing victory for Richard Nixon and crushing defeat for George McGovern, and of course the tragedy of Thomas Eagleton. The year saw Canadians go to the polls in several provincial elections and one federal election, with decisive results provincially and a virtual tie across the nation. It was perhaps fitting that during the Christmas season, a time of peace, that Lester Pearson, a man of peace, was laid to rest, and that another man of peace, but in a different way, Harry S. Truman, gave him hell for the last time. In the world of sport, the Argos won the Grey Cup before the season began and lost it from the opening kickoff. We saw Ferguson Jenkins, the poor boy from Chatham, become one of the greatest baseball pitchers of all time, with his 6th consecutive 20-game season. We saw the Leafs collapse and the Marlies rise, and we finally got the Argo bounce with the retirement of Angelo Mosca. And no mention of the sporting world in 1972 would be complete without mention of the tragedy and grandeur of the Munich Olympics. Beautiful on one hand to see the excellence of a Mark Spitz winning an unprecedented 7 gold medals in the Olympic pool, but horrifying as the dark shadow of political hatred crept down to the playing field and resulted in the Munich murders. The drama, though, was not contained here on Earth, as the Apollo program continued with uninterrupted success, with the final flight to the moon, the Apollo 17 flight, being the most successful of all. But as man soared to the moon, the war continued in Vietnam, and an earthquake in Managua, Nicaragua, took the lives of 10,000 people and destroyed an entire metropolis. Howard Hughes, the man with the billions, who finds that he can hide from everything but publicity, escaped that earthquake and now hides in a different part of the world, but at least free from the biography penned by Clifford Irving. It was a year of contrast, with starvation in Bangladesh, but with a party thrown for royalty by the Shah of Iran that cost $100 million. 1972 was the last year for many, famous though mortal, for it marked the end for J. Edgar Hoover, the Lord of the FBI, the Duke of Windsor, the one-time king, along with performers and actors like Mahalia Jackson, Luella Parsons, Walter Winchell, Oscar Levant, and by his own hand, George Saunders. Hockey lost Turk Broda, baseball lost Jackie Robinson, and the movies lost J. Arthur Rank. Here in Toronto, it was out with the old and in with the new, as David Crombie and the Reformers surged to power. 1972 will be remembered in many ways. For some, a year of happiness, for others, a year of sadness. But 1972 was now at an end, its legacy passed on to a new and perhaps better year. As Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The sun also rises."